The Wholesome Boys. Everybody wave, boys. Hello. Hello, boys.
What's up, y'all?
Hello.
When you guys are ready, let's hit it.
This is Desert Diamonds. Crying moan, blinding night, faded neon marquee lights, silver lightning, silent thunder, endless naked burning hunger for you, my Texas star. It makes no difference where you are. Desert diamonds, dusty dreams, pictures painting western scenes. Cleansing smoke, Texas age, shadows turn another page. Golden arrows, violent plunder, simple ancient taking hunger for you, my Texas star. It makes no difference where you are. Desert diamonds, dusty dreams, pictures painting western scenes. Open miles, twisted heat, drifting headlights spark the street. Desert diamonds, dusty dreams, pictures painting western scenes. Open miles, twisted heat, drifting headlights spark the street.
I love that. That's beautiful. That
Well,
song,
poetic license in that one.
that one is great. It started in a way that I didn't know where it was going to go, nice and slow and kind of dreamy, and it really took off. That's a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. What would I say if I didn't like it? I would say we're done.
I would say okay. Okay.
Stream is still going, actually. So
Yeah, we
thanks for
drove a
being here
lot
with
through
us.
Texas, and that song kind of rings true to that at times when I think about it. That just the hot freaking roads. And
Yeah.
we were essentially driving a microwave across the West Coast.
With no air conditioning.
We have like pictures on a phone or camera or whatever, and like you can see that like everyone is like actually cooking.
Just
They're-
as
There's, like, the radiation
really,
lines
We all had
coming
our
off,
shirts
yeah.
off, and like we were like, wow, like we were medium.
medium
Yeah, not medium well or rare, but
or
like,
rare.
we were about medium. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where did that name come from, actually?
The Wholesome Boys?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think it meant lies and crime.
No, sorry.
Oh, I was like, well,
Yeah,
It's in the song.
it's in the
the
song.
Wholesome Boys.
Shoot, like
Are you guys very wholesome individuals?
No, like
We're definitely not Boy Scouts.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And there's
like,
a certain deeper meaning that comes with it, like that all together we become one thing, and it's like we're the sum of the whole, and that's one way to look at it. Another way is like it's kind of a punk rock name because it's we're not the Boy Scout group in a way, but like it kind of is who we are. Like I called them that one time. I was like, y'all are some wholesome effing boys, man. and then for a long time, it's like I was like, I just want to be in the Wholesome Boys, what
That's
that
cool.
is.
So it's an aspiring thing.
I think it's ever changing, but like whatever it is, it's us. Whatever you want to think about it.
Mm-hmm. I was kind of laughing about this today in a very dadcore kind of thing, thinking like you guys playing with like the Viagra Boys. And it's like, you got the Viagra Boys.
Well, anytime you put
and you got
boys
the
at the
Wholesome
end,
Boys.
it's like it's a little playful, you know.
Yeah.
The Wholesome Men sounds more like a
fellowship group.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds much more like a
Or like a
fellowship.
barbershop quartet.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear another tune.
Heard you say you were Marilyn
that blew your laptop speakers at home.
It might be blowing my headphones a little bit over here.
It was mine.
It's clipping a little bit.
How far apart do you put your singles? Or like, how did you figure that out?
Roughly 6 weeks. We kind of took a little break for like holiday season, but usually 6 to 8 weeks.
Do you notice it dropping off a little bit?
Yeah, we try to hit that what's the word? The precipice of it to where like it is.
Yeah.
I mean, 6 weeks is like pretty good time to where like right when it starts to drop down, we put out something else. But it's at least like something we can commit to and kind of like ride it out and see the analytics or whatever, as opposed to being like, I feel like putting a single out now, you know?
Yeah.
Has it been working?
I think it has. I mean, we had 0 listeners when we started, and we have like almost 15,000 monthly listeners.
Oh, that's
So it's
awesome.
like,
What
we're
are you
bringing
getting
in-
playlisted, or how are you doing
yeah,
that?
I think we are getting some playlist love, and more so like we toured for so long without really any current music that was like the realization of us as a band. So just to have one single out, it like was game changing for people that saw us live and got to go home and like share something.
So there's something for them to do after.
Yeah, I mean like we're still in the release cycle and we're getting to play shows and people are getting to go home and like watch these music videos that we've created and the music, and it's like that's paramount for us.
So did you pitch to playlist, or you're just getting some of that?
Well, it's hard to tell. That's kind of like it's an elusive thing that, you don't, it's kind of like PR where you don't really know what your ROI is on that as far as like emails sent and our distribution company, MGM, I think they do some pitching for us and we pitch ourselves and,
Have you known any that for sure worked?
No, none of it for sure. That's a great question. These are good. I think that the playlist world is, they're the curators that like put that together, and whatever they decide works, whether it doesn't mean it's a good song or a bad song, it's just whatever works for their responsibility is to the listener, to like curate for them, not like necessarily decide if a band is cool or not. I think there's a certain amount, like percentage of independent artists that get on those playlists, and then the other 75 to 80% is signed or, like kind of in the system of that. But
So, and you guys aren't signed, so you're just hitting it naturally?
totally, when we do, yeah. And it's it's just kind of a bonus. It moves the needle for a little bit, and then, we go back to what we know works, which is playing shows.
Yeah, because I think I've noticed, I was looking at your Spotify, you guys didn't have any music prior to last 2024, yet you do have 13,000 plus followers, which is really awesome. I was curious if you had music up before that maybe you deleted, or if that's really all just like natural over
That
the
was
last
just natural. Like
year
that
or so.
started as year 0.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's cool. I mean, it's hard to say, right? Sometimes people have old stuff, they just delete,
Totally.
you can
I've done
have a
that.
clean slate.
100%.
But so pretty quickly, you said, okay, we want to drop some singles, and this is kind of how we're going to work up to our album, right?
And then the way to combat that in our own minds, as far as like an old school way, was we, took the time to create a vinyl, and we have that now. So like, if people want the record in its entirety, the only place they can get it is to purchase one of these records that has all of the music that will be out October 24th.
Oh, look, he has
like,
one.
We're kind of like playing that new world game and, allowing it to be how we really want it to be, which is like, this is a body of work and
Right.
not 10 singles.
Of course.
Because it's definitely not to us that way,
Yeah, I think, I totally understand. I mean, we've done that with an artist on our label too. We had 7 singles, and there was this whole rollout plan with audio and video to kind of keep snowballing to the ultimate record release. And
Yeah.
it might not be the ideal thing for any band who's kind of like the old school album kind of vibe, but it is the world we live in, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the lament that we all have is like, how much do we want to be involved in what we think is like current or corrected thing to do, and how much artistic integrity do we want to retain, and that's just only for us to decide. So like, we really made that vinyl for us.
Yeah.
And anybody else that really wants
Beautiful
it. But, like,
packaging. I like the embossing on the
Oh,
back
yeah.
too. when
Thanks
I
for
felt it.
noticing
Felt
that.
really
Pull
cool.
pull it out there.
All right, hold
I
on.
think
Let me
you'll be-
let me set my mic down.
It's a cool idea to release the vinyl before the whole record comes out, because people can only get it on vinyl right now.
Yeah, that's
Exactly.
It. If you
That's a
want
good
it, and
incentive.
It's the best way to get it.
It is, and it's forever. It's yours forever.
Yeah, when the internet goes down,
You'll
be
have our
300
record.
of those.
Exactly.
When Spotify goes bankrupt.
well, I don't know about that. I don't know. Who knows what'll happen? But vinyls, like outside of everything, are something that are you can hold in your hand. The ground floor of Wholesome Boys, you know.
That's very cool. So that makes it even more fun. So you are truthfully creating an exclusive thing.
Yeah.
You can only buy it on the road, right? It's not online or anything else.
It was online for a bit. I think it's on our Bandcamp, but like we sell the most of them on the road.
So I think that's awesome that you're doing it. It's providing that kind of unique approach to a digital age now.
Totally.
Let's hear one more tune. This is the third single, right?
Yes.
Tonight it's just us.
All righty.
I'm going to get a little tambourine action on this for you folks at home. It's indeed tonight, just us.
Have we learned enough yet? Take a promises to the grave. I need a cigarette. And it works from anyone place. Breathe out hard. Try to remember how we got this far. Keep on driving. Take us out to the edge of everything and keep on driving. Figure out how to learn to be real again and go too far. Down in the truck, crying until the dawn. Build it back up, get the ghost in the night that you can't shut up. Gonna be tomorrow again. Leave it, come back around. Hope you're still sitting there where I put you down. Think about it again and again. Sing back to the warmth of remembering and keep on driving. Take us out to the edge of everything. Keep on driving. Figure out how to learn to be real again and go too far. Down in the club, crying until the dawn. And build it back up, get the ghost in the night that you can't shut up. Gonna be tomorrow again. Down in the club. But tonight it's just us. Keep on driving. Take us out to the edge of everything and keep on driving. Figure out how to learn to be real again and go too far. Turn in the club, crying until the dawn. The better back up, get the ghost in the night that you can't shut up. Gonna be tomorrow again. Keep on driving.
Another great ending there. You know, is this band your main band? Does anybody have other music projects you're working on?
No way.
Or is that is that kind of a rule? Is that,
It's not a rule.
I don't
it's
want to
just
start a fight
passion,
here.
baby.
I'm sorry if I did.
No, I don't
but-
think it's a rule. I think it's just what we all want to do.
It's the only band I've ever been in.
Okay.
I was an artist by myself.
solo
and-
artist?
Yeah, I never. So this is my first band and the greatest band.
That's
from
cool.
what I hear.
Yeah, you guys sound great.
Just love, baby, just love.
That's why, it's a naive question, right? In a city like Nashville, you would think people are bouncing around, hoping that something sticks.
We
right?
all did that, and it sucks.
Yeah.
That's why we made our record in Brooklyn.
Yeah. So we're going to jump to that question, I guess, because you went to Brooklyn to make a record when I'm sure there are ample amount of studios in Nashville.
Just because we wanted to.
You wanted a fresh
We just wanted to change the
perspective?
pace. We didn't want to go back home to whatever that home was. We rented a brownstone and slept on the floor, and we're there for 21 days. And we couldn't get away from each other if we wanted to.
Who did all the engineering and stuff? Did you do it all yourselves?
This wonderful, beautiful, amazing man from Brooklyn, New York named Ben Rice. Shout out Ben Rice, Dust.
And Rice, DeGraw Sound Studios.
So you went there for him specifically?
Yeah, through our great friend Patrick Clifford.
Another
a
wonderful,
Nashville
beautiful human being.
staple. He's the Pope of 5 points.
He's the
and he
Pope of
hooked us
5
up with Ben
points.
Rice.
It's something, it makes sense, right? Nashville, there's a lot of studios. I'm sure there's a sound. I'm sure it's not cheap. Brooklyn, I'm sure, is not necessarily either. But to get out of Nashville is something you were purposely trying to do.
It was just kind of a pilgrimage kind of thing.
Yeah.
We drove the van up there. The van sat for, we found a cool parking spot for it, and we walked to the studio and from the studio every day, rain or sleet or snow, and it shaped us into. That's why I say that like we really became a band after that, because like it tore us all the way down from whatever we thought we were and gave us a rubric, because of Ben Rice helped us like do that, to where we had to learn how to play that record live. We had to learn how to do it.
So you had all the tunes hashed out, and did he kind
We
of
thought we did.
Okay,
yes.
and he provided some input and everything.
He was like some type of a shaman or something.
Yes,
that-
some sort of spiritual
Yeah, we went-
aspect.
I looked. Yeah, it's like you walk into rehab thinking that that you're just doing it for fun, and then you really are like, oh fuck. So like that's kind of what happened.
So
You
yeah,
know,
he
it
was he had a heavy hand, will you say, in production?
in like a very soft way. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
He was a producer and engineer,
Mm-hmm.
and then the mastering engineer was Joe Laporta.
At
at
Sterling Sound.
So,
Oh,
so
very
it was
cool.
a skeleton crew. Like the only players on that whole record are us.
So did you have 21 days planned out, or like have to get it done by then?
All we
or-
could really afford. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
So did you end up doing any overdubs after that, or you were able to finish it in those 21 days?
It was pretty scary.
Yeah, that would be
We were
scary.
Like, we got plenty of time, and then we're like, oh shit.
It's not
we
that
got
much.
it.
Yeah.
It was just enough time to think that you had time, and then it was still down to the wire massively,
Totally.
which was a good thing.
And-
If you have
yeah,
forever to do it, you'll never get done.
I was gonna say that too, right? Because you went there knowing you had a fixed amount of time, right? And that's it. So you had to kind of keep moving. You had to keep going.
Did you kind of go song by song, or did you do like all the drums first, or like the rhythm section first?
It was song by song, yeah.
So that's also scary.
Yeah, that's interesting. So did you feel like you got a cohesive record sound? Still?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
all in the same space, same headspace?
Yeah, because we had the full spectrum of emotion in all the songs every time we did it. It was like,
And it was super scary because he didn't let us listen to anything.
Oh,
At
yeah.
the end of the day, we
Yeah.
didn't get to listen to
Nothing.
anything.
No playback, like while you're going.
Oh.
whoa,
wow, that's
yeah. I mean,
interesting,
we
yeah.
had
Would
some.
like listen to playback, but when the session was done for the day, that was it. You don't hear it until everything else was done.
Yeah,
So would he stay after and mix when you
Yes.
guys left too?
he worked
Okay.
harder than anyone in
He
like.
was doing 16, 18 hours.
Oh
a
yeah,
day.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Absolute
it
beast.
was
Because
very
he's looking, he's going through and making sure he's got what he needs too.
Yeah, I mean, he was. Now that I look back on it, I'm even more impressed than I was in the moment.
Absolutely.
As to what he did.
So at the end of the 21 days, did you hear your mixed record?
No,
Okay, so it wasn't like
we heard
rough.
roughs.
So he still did some finals and stuff after.
Like 2 more weeks of
Okay,
mixing.
cool.
We didn't even get to take him home.
No, we didn't. Yeah, we had to wait, and then and then that was a whole nother process of the mixing and back
Yeah,
and forth.
back
So I'm
and
like,
forth.
it was it's the thing that you love and you hate about music, and you just learn to like love the process of it, and that has always been something that I've had to learn in my journey outside of being in this band. But like that one hit me in the it's made me into the person that I am today, like a little bit more patient.
Yeah, I think it's
Just
great
like-
to
just
have a
a little
timeline
bitty
in
bit.
that sense. It's too easy now to just keep chipping away at something on a computer.
Oh yeah, that's not what I like. It like
I mean, if you guys were in Nashville, I mean,
it's
you could have
cool.
done it a couple days at a time over.
there's a beauty to
It would have
that,
been a
too.
different
That's
situation.
exactly why we didn't do it. We
Yeah.
wanted to do it all at once. We wanted to be immersed. We wanted to get away from everything we knew and
Yeah.
go, deep. Take it all the way down to the barest bones it could be, and like find out how good we can make it.
Well, and we could make it better, or different. We could play it more live now than we ever could then, but it's a snapshot of like that growth point for us and that rehabilitation or realization of the band. And it's like, that's why it's cool. It's not cool because it's like, it doesn't need to be what we are now because that's something different. But it was like the birth of it, And that's what's sexy about it.
You know, we've done extended sessions like that before, and I kind of what you were just saying. I love that when I know I have 3 days in a row with the same group of people, I clear my schedule, I clear my headspace because I'm there for those 3 days, and I think I like that. But if I have to make, you know, if we're gonna spread out a record over like once a week, let's say for 5 weeks, it's like there's so much noise in between that. So I can see like how that pilgrimage, like you said, one of you guys said, just going there, and this is it. You know, no distractions, right?
And the goal of the record, was it to make money through streaming, or was it to get your songs out there for people to come to your shows? Or how much did you invest in it? And like, do you see the return?
We invested a lot. The goal of the record was to make the greatest record ever. And,
That we could, yeah.
You know, that we could possibly make. Aside from that, I don't think we had any expectations of anything.
That's awesome. So you just make it as good as possible, whatever it costs, and then
Well,
hope that it makes money back.
yeah. I think we did what we could with what we had. In retrospect, we got a great deal,
Yeah.
you know, and
We got so much more out of the experience than just the record.
and the ROI on a record, like, I don't even know how you figure that, because it's like we can't figure out who buys tickets, or I mean, that record will outlive us.
So did you going into Ben Rice in Brooklyn, right? You had to book early in advance to go to his studio. Did he require like 50% up front, or how did he just like in a quick answer there, like how did he want his
I
payment?
think it was 50% up front.
50% on booking, 50% when you're done.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Totally.
Yeah, that makes sense. Has he done anything that like maybe well known that, you know, because it sounds like he's, you know, he's cut his teeth. He's been around, right?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, he's worked with Joan Osborne.
Okay.
He's worked with the National.
Okay.
And he does quite a bit of, I'm not sure about very recently, but guitar session work as well.
Okay.
I believe he was on was it a Jonas Brothers track?
Sick. Did he
Jonas
dub that
Brothers?
solo that Joe Jonas?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Boom. No.
What's his studio name? Is it his place?
It's called DeGraw Sound.
It's the street that it's on.
DeGraw. D-E, like G-R-A-W.
Yeah, like Gavin DeGraw, but not.
Yeah, it sounds like it was an awesome experience, which is cool. I'm envious of it in a way. I'm trying to be like, you know, very serious about my interview, but it sounds like an awesome time. Like not to sit here and gush about it, but it sounds
There
like
were
it,
tears of joy
Yeah.
and sadness.
and it's hard work.
You
know.
it was a labor of love for sure, but like it was really, really hard. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I have this conversation with people all the time. Like, making music is fun, but it's mostly hard work. You know, it's fun like when you look back and be like, this was a lot of fun, but when you're in it, it's very, very difficult.
It's
You're
almost
making
like-
a lot of decisions.
Yeah.
You're trying to be a perfectionist. You're trying not to be overly of a perfectionist, right?
Basically the same thing as rock climbing.
Yeah,
just
it's an
encounter
art
so many
within an
things
art.
that have nothing to do with music.
Yeah.
You encounter so many things when you make a record like this that have nothing to do with music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like you're fighting personal battles on a day-to-day basis,
Mm-hmm.
and it made us like a unit that it can't be broken. You know, it's like such a bonding experience that I think it shaped all of us for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, this is really cool. I'm glad we got into this because I think it's great to hear that. Definitely one of those experiences that I would love to have myself, frankly. But also, it's just great that you guys have had that and you've been successful so far with that.
I guess online they're saying that he produced some stuff for A Star Is Born for Lady Gaga. That's pretty cool.
I believe that is true. Yes, I forgot that. Ben is a man of many talents.
Yeah, it's funny how that can happen. I mean, it's like I don't want to assume anything, but you have one hit like that, then you can do a lot of other stuff. You know, that can kind of the big hit has paid you well enough.
Sure.
All right, I think it's time for another one, eh?
Let's
So
go.
Ypsilanti now. This is your most recent tune. We got 2 Michiganders in here. And we got 2 guys. I don't know. You said you're from Missouri. I didn't hear where you were from.
Louisiana.
Louisiana. Okay, so we got some southern roots in there. That's cool. That's cool. So Ypsilanti. Why is anybody writing tunes about Ypsilanti? How about you ask me that
Somebody
question?
fell in love there.
Because I fell in love with the most beautiful human being I've ever met, Alyssa Jones,
Okay.
in Ypsilanti, Michigan. It's a beautiful little college town.
Yes.
And I was out there playing in bands, and I met this person, and it changed my life forever. So I kind of came up with something and brought it to the boys, and we Wholesome Boys ified it and came up with this song you're about to hear.
It sounds like you guys are very cool with your writing. So I'll let you play this tune and I'll hold my question. Cliffhanger.
Take me back to Ypsilanti, to the blue lit morning road we made love. We may be older, some nights may be colder, but I'll never forget you that way. You stood out from the crowd, do it then, know it now. I remember the feeling of falling in love. One stone on the ceiling, don't it look like heaven? Leave me down by the good road, maybe just on occasion. I remember the feeling. I remember the feeling.
Funny, Ypsilanti. I mean, how
Right.
did you find a word to rhyme with that too? You know,
There is no rhyme. It doesn't
it doesn't have to.
It really started off as like this kind of like poem, and it was just a couple verses, and it was just real, and I played it for the guys, and they were like, "Yeah, that's awesome."
I remember when you played it for me, and you were like, "I don't know. What do you think about this one?" And I was like, "Whoa!"
So does every member here bring in ideas? That's a normal thing for you guys.
Yeah.
For a band, yeah.
Okay, great. So obviously you wrote that tune, right? And then you brought it to the guys and kind of let everybody put their flavor on it.
Well, yeah, and that's, I mean, to say that I wrote that song is a huge overstatement because from what it was when I was on my own to what you just heard was like, I mean, Ben Rice actually helped finish that in the studio as well. So
Okay, so that's great. So it's awesome that you guys are diplomatic, it sounds like, where everybody kind of can bring in ideas and hash them out together. So if somebody's bringing in an idea to the practice space, you guys kind of just jam on it for a while and see how it feels and how it flows.
We've done it all the ways. We
Yeah,
just
it's-
live with it, and I think the more open we can be about it, I think the better, you know. And then
Does one person do most of the lyrics?
no, everybody does
Wow.
all of the parts, and you know,
Damn,
it's just kind of
you guys really all very wholesome boys. It's
What do you
awesome
know?
that you're able to be this
we just
diplomatic.
believe in that. Yeah, it's not easy. It's
No.
scary. It's vulnerable. It's all the things. But like when you're co-creating, it's not. You know, who's more responsible for apples, Steve Jobs or Wozniak? You know.
But they had different roles. Like Wozniak did all the programming.
Yeah. So it's like there's no. Everybody needs everybody, and it's just if you're not co-creating, then like fine. But like if you are, then like just be willing to just listen more than you judge.
Do you have roles in the band in other ways?
Yep, we do totally.
What are those roles? Are they stated, or you just kind of know who's good at what?
Frank is captain of the ship. He
Yeah,
usually
Frank drives,
drives
Frank-
most of the time.
Dylan is the treasurer.
Yeah, he is the treasurer.
Cool. That's
I'd say
important.
Nate's the negotiator.
Yeah.
Yes. Andrew's our graphic designer
That's helpful.
and
Super helpful.
Videographer, video editor.
But we all do a little bit of those parts too. So like we're all assistant that.
I was gonna
like-
say there's like a bunch of hats and we all just grab them and booking or whatever, like
It's like
whoever.
working in the kitchen, man, or like working at a restaurant where it's
Well,
like,
and at times
I've got
it's
my
like-
tables, but sometimes I'll need help. Or
Yeah.
vice versa.
And sometimes someone's doing something and they ask for help and it's any one of us. We feel like that way, the ball will never be dropped because there's someone's always holding the ball.
So typically, you guys have some roles, but if somebody needs help, you kind of float around and do all that
I
stuff.
mean, we have 25% of what's going on, so it behooves everyone to show up when they can. If they can't, then the other person will fill it in.
That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, life, sometimes life happens to
Yeah.
you. So it's good to, know if you're busy booking or something, he can
We just
help
have a
with
lot
that
of
stuff too.
trust. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I assume you guys split your publishing evenly then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Is Ben Rice cut in on the publishing with you guys?
On the songs that he helped us write, yes.
Okay.
And then producer agreement was, which I don't know off the top of my head, so don't
That's
ask me
fine.
that.
Does he have a producer agreement on the whole record?
Uh-huh.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then per
it's pretty
song,
standard. We
it
had a
varies.
lawyer and all that.
Cool.
Cool jazz, and it was good. Like it was just as much a passion project for him as it was for us. You know, he was definitely the fifth member of the band for all of that.
I know we talked about this a little already, but I guess did he know you guys beforehand?
He
So
knew
it's
us-
cool that you were able to then you reached out, I assume, and you said we love your music, we want to work with you, and it really worked out super well, is what it sounds like.
There's a friend of ours, Patrick Clifford, in Nashville.
Sent him. We made a demo when we were doing some gigs up in
Wyoming.
Montana, and
Yeah.
Ben kind of replied back like, "Who is?" He thought it was just one person. He was like, "Who's this guy? I got to meet him."
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And then we had like a FaceTime kind of thing, and then
At Duke's
at the old legendary Dukes,
in
and
Nashville.
then he came down and they listened to a bunch of songs in the car, and
Yep.
and
then he came to
everyone was sold.
our show in Nashville in December.
23.
13th.
Yeah, like right, but and then
14th.
and then the next month we went to Brooklyn, right?
Yeah, like 2 weeks later, and
Yeah.
it was just like Ben was like the fifth finger on the hand, you know, and it all just as soon as we met him, it just felt right.
That's
So,
awesome.
we've been-
I know I'm kind of pushing here, but I think
No.
typically you can meet somebody and you can pretty much know within 15 seconds.
Yeah,
right?
we've gotten
It's
a lot
like-
better at doing that.
Yeah,
You know,
it was super easy. Like as soon as Ben sat down, he was like, "Yeah, I was in a band in the New York scene in the early 2000s," and I was like, "Nice to meet you."
That's great. I mean, connections are huge, of course, too, in that case. But it's great, especially not knowing him, and you were able to like develop, a fifth brother here for
I
this
mean,
group.
It wasn't even the connections; it was our connection.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
talking about 2000s rock music was what I wanted to do.
yeah.
It wasn't.
Well, and that's how it worked with us in this band. It wasn't like there was no interviewing going on. It was just like when you have that energetic connection going on, that like it felt like that everybody at all points of their life were going through what they needed to go through to meet at this one juncture and realize it and like be able to like start from there. And like that's really what went on. It was none of us thought our way into this. We did everything to fuck it up, honestly, and somehow we're chosen for that. That's how I feel anyway.
That's great. No, I think that's really cool. It sounds, again, just jealous of this connection, honestly, like the situation.
Don't be jealous of it. Come
You
on
know?
in.
Yeah. I'll see ya. Peace. I'm done here today. No, I think it's great because I think it's so easy now to write the tunes by yourself, track them in the studio, get session players, whatever. We do that a lot here. So, and then hire a band later. I think there is just a different feeling to like you played the parts, you wrote the parts. It's your baby, right? And you're out there and you're playing it and you're doing a great job every night.
Right.
The investment, like personally, is there, which I think is super important. And it's cool. It's like you said, listen in the car. That's like that's also such an old school vibe too. Where it's like now you're sending a SoundCloud link, right? And it's like that's just sucks. But there's like, hey guy, come in my car. Let's blast this shit. That's so cool. That's awesome that it happened that way.
Totally.
Yeah. So let's hear another one. I'd like to hear an extra original too. I know we talked about let's add that other one.
Let's do Evangeline.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
let's do that now, and then we'll do the cover after. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. We really appreciate that. All right, guys, let's hear it.
Thanks so much for tuning in, y'all. We're having a lot of fun.
Take my time to reach to my mind tonight. Walk in the halls and turn it off on these lights. somewhere safe, and I hope I'm not too late. Hold my roots into the ground, hold me down. I'll wait for you till I go away. Staring at the fire dancing around the wood. Take a leg now, I'll pull the flame if I could. Sitting underneath that old unfamiliar shade. That I wait for you till the rain goes over me. Beyond the memory of where we used to be, I found somewhere safe, and I hope I'm not too late. Hold my roots into the ground, hold me down. I'll wait for you till I go away. I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. Yeah.
What was that? Was Evangeline? You said? Has that one been released yet?
It's coming next. The
Coming
one out.
next. All right, you heard it here first. Cool.
I knew all the words to that one.
You did. Great job. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the Nashville music scene because, you know, I'm slightly naive to it. I don't live there. I've been there a lot of times. I know there's a lot of great musicians. I know there's a lot of great bands. You can't walk without hearing great tunes coming from everywhere. So tell me, is it competitive? And so, you know, what does that look like? I mean, you guys are a rock band, right? Is there a scene for rock music?
We've played a lot of different spots. We played Third and Lindsay.
We had a residency at
Yeah.
at one of our favorite bars. They don't really host music, so Nashville's is great. Everyone is so supportive of being a musician and
Yeah.
of the you know journey that it is. And there's room for every kind of band in Nashville. You know, just because Music Row doesn't care about a lot of them doesn't mean that there aren't fans and other players who are
Definitely.
trying to do the same thing.
So where was the residency, and how long was it?
6 months, 4 months.
And it was like a weekly or monthly thing?
It was in East Nashville,
Once a month at Nobles in East.
and we'd have like a guest or
4
two
months.
of artists that would come and play, and it was just like a real kind of DIY thing, but it was really cool, and it played out. It was on the patio, so it played out to all of East Nashville on the street, people walking by, and like,
Cool.
it was just cool. It was pretty rock and roll, honestly, you know.
For a gig like that, do they expect covers, or they just kind of let you do whatever you
no.
want?
No. We did whatever we want.
Yeah, they have they just have a cool built-in crowd, and they were very to us and kind of just let us do our own thing and
That's great.
took care of us, and it was real special.
Yeah, because I think that's kind of what I was referring to. I've been there a few times. I have family that lives there. Just like walking around, you hear great music coming from everywhere, right? And I did walk Broadway once or twice because it's a situation, right? But there is some great music coming from there. Not necessarily my favorite scene, of course, but the bands are incredible. Have you guys done the cover circuit, or anybody doing that now?
Yeah, I did it. I did it for like a summer.
Okay. What was your experience with it?
I mean, face planted into the asphalt every night.
Sure. Okay.
Just like waking up, getting there at 9:30, playing till 10 o'clock at night, playing 12 hours straight, and just.
Oh, 9:30 a.m. Oh, Jesus. When you said 9:30 to 10, I'm like, that's 30 minutes.
Yeah.
No, not 12-hour gigs, like shifts.
Oh, okay.
So like, what was it? It was like 10 to 2, I think.
Mhm.
2 to 6 or something. It was 3 or 4 hour gigs, just doing a bunch of those.
Was it you were playing bass or was it you a solo? Okay.
Yeah, it was
Band.
my bass. Yeah.
Did it pay well?
Yeah, it was sweet. I also had a kitchen job, so
Okay.
I was living high.
Sick.
Going up to the kitchen job drunk.
Pooping in high cotton.
Because I think, there obviously seems to be a lot of gigs, but are they actually paying people? Or are they doing the old experience thing? It varies, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure the bands on Broadway, I would hope they get paid well. Through our just network of people here, I remember talking to somebody, I don't remember who it was. They had a friend or a cousin and doing the gig. They went there to do original music, and then the cover band was so demanding that all of the good times that they wanted to play were for the cover band. They could never actually get their original band going. I'm just curious,
I mean, it's just it's like the side hustle of anything,
It's like the story of being in an original band. It's like no one cares until everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe
Exactly.
they never do, but
I have to imagine if you have a good paying gig, you're playing once a week at some bar or a couple times a week at any bars, and you're getting paid well enough, you're not going to want to say no to it after a while if that's your livelihood, right? And then all of a sudden, hey, we want to go on tour, or hey, we should have our original band play at some place on a Friday, and it's like, too bad. This guy's got to be playing over at, Tootsie's or whatever.
I mean,
it's
I
called.
think that if you're gonna wait until the doors open up for you to do your original material, you'll never do it because the doors won't open. You have to open them yourself. So it's like if it's like I'm gonna do this on the side, and then you end up doing that, just like working a job or whatever. No one will do that for you.
Yeah, no one's just going to give you an opportunity. You have
Well,
to make your own
At some
opportunities.
extent, you do have to have enough chips that you can push all in, but you have to push them in, And if you don't do that, like you can't win back. You can't win back what you don't put out there. Some people have more chips to start off with, but I think to push all of them in, like at every point, everyone who has ever done anything has done that and bet on themselves.
So chips being your time and your money.
I mean, yeah, your chips could be whatever, but it's like you have to go all in on what you're doing at some point in the process. You have to do that. And if you're waiting when the comfiest time to step in the water is, like, that just won't come.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. If you have a nicely paying cover gig, why would you
hard.
want to go play an original gig and make
Depends on how
less
bad you
money,
want it. Yeah,
right?
I mean,
And I can see it, you get into that pattern. It's hard to break after a while.
totally.
Well, like some people go to Nashville to do that.
Yeah.
To play
And that's
every
hard
day,
to do
play on
too, like
Broadway
to
and
learn
Yeah.
how to play
play in front of
covers.
tourists, and
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not shitting on that at all.
It's
But
really just finding where you feel fulfilled. Like being an artist is so many more things than like, the one thing that people see on American Idol or whatever. Like there's multifaceted.
So do you prefer Nashville gigs or do you like going on the road more? And where do you make more money, doing hometown gigs or road gigs?
Road gigs.
We love the road. We love the band. Nashville's great. It's undeniably great.
Most places that will have us, and if we can route it correctly, like we'll do it.
Yeah, if we get an anchor date on there and we just try and make the run make sense, keep the drives under 6 hours between towns, and sometimes it's not. We're doing a run next month where we're doing Colorado Springs to Dallas the next day. So it's like you do what you got to do. We love it, and we'll do whatever it takes. Like there's no stopping the Wholesome Boys.
And it's all worth it. Like even the long drives, short drives, like weird load-ins, great sound, bad sound, like it all has given us something, a different tool in our toolkit.
I mean, what's the quote we've been saying a bunch? Like, a lesson learned from a bad experience is a good experience.
yeah, I 100% agree.
It's just like, how do you frame it? Frame it so that you learn something, and then it's never bad, and
I think that's crucial.
just keep the wheels turning.
Yeah, I think you guys definitely have that energy, which is important. It's like I want to say, like what you were saying earlier. Your headphones weren't working, and you're like, "I'll just deal with it," which is great because nothing is ever going to be perfect. I see local bands, I see bands, whatever here in the studios, and people want it to be perfect, and it's never going to be that way. Deal with figuring out how to make it anyway, and you'll just be better. And I played a gig last year at a good venue in Detroit. My floor monitor went out for a full hour. I couldn't hear anything but drums and my own guitar amp, right? But I knew the songs, I knew my parts. I just played along. I've had fun. That's all that mattered, right? Nobody gave a shit whether or not my monitor was in. I'm not going to complain about it. It went out, and that was it. And it came back on. It would scare me, and then it would, it would go out again.
We always say, like, it's not like we're not going to play. Just make it work. Like, if you have to play with one arm, like, make it work.
I mean, that's where they came up with the show must go on. Somebody figured out how to just be like,
Pretty
well,
early on,
Yeah, and I think that's
Still,
great.
yeah.
I think a lot of people, I mean, they don't have that work ethic, right? I guess not to beat around the bush about it. That's just what it is.
Maybe, yeah.
And people want to blame other people. People want to say, "Oh, it was the sound guy's fault," or like, it was the
I mean, but
referee's
I
fault.
can be,
Totally.
if I would have had the ability to be a prima donna, I would have been.
Yeah.
Like I'd be like, well, how about this? Like, at any moment when I can be, I try to be. But
It becomes
not very many of
overwhelming.
those moments.
Well, and it's just adding one more thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like being on the road, trying to get, feed 4 grown men. Someone has to go to the bathroom, and
Drinking too much water.
too much Red Bull.
Uh-oh.
Your attitude is going to determine, your day. There's a quote somewhere. It's like 90% of your life is going to be how you react to the 10%. Every day we wake up and get to do this is a gift.
Yeah, I mean, you're happy to be playing music, right?
I'm in a studio with
Yeah, these are my best friends. Like,
Yeah.
These are my brothers for life. Like, I couldn't be happier, like I have my family and I have these boys and that I don't need anything else.
And so you just live within whatever means you need to keep doing this as much as you can. Then it sounds like.
Would it be okay for me to grab something from the kitchen?
This is the
Yeah.
dream.
Is that really okay?
Hey, go ahead. I heard you saying you were going to maybe do that, so I opened up this question if you wanted to run. I think just touching a little bit more on the Nashville scene, right? Have you guys bounced around in different groups? Is it common? Everybody's got their hand in a bunch of different bands, and they're hoping one of them kind of takes off, right? I mean, that's a normal occurrence.
I think a lot of people are like that.
Yeah.
It's not a bad investment to spread it out. And,
Yeah.
But I don't know. We all wanted to be in this band our entire lives,
Mhm.
and now we have a chance to be in this band, and like we're holding on with 150% of our strength.
So, do you have other side hustles?
We all work. Yeah, we all work.
And then you're pouring all that money into producing this record.
Yeah, thankfully we have a lot of wonderful people in our lives who have been gracious with us and allowed us to do this.
That's awesome. So, did you split the cost of recording equally with all the band members, or did you do a GoFundMe?
All of the above.
Okay, so everything.
Everything, every possible avenue we could squeeze 10 cents out of, we did, and we still are.
As a treasury, when you get paid for the gigs, are you just kind of putting it into a band fund, or are you kind of paying everybody a share, or does it vary also?
I mean, it's always different. I mean, if you have, depending on how much it is and what's next and what we need to do. But I mean, as any touring band will know, any independent touring band will know, your next gig is going to determine the next gig. Merch has been a huge game changer for us on the road. Having something to offer people has allowed us to keep money at least circulating while we're on the road.
Do you do better with vinyl or with T-shirts or with posters? Do you do all of those?
The vinyl have been great. People look at vinyl is definitely back. We didn't want to make, at least for this first pressing, a record that you would look at and be like, oh, that's a record. We wanted it to be something that looked like the Wholesome Boys record. I think that definitely resonates with people when it's on the merch booth and it's got the translucent red. We've definitely sold, I think we're out of large T-shirts right now. We've got a couple, some stickers and stuff.
In my experience, T-shirts have done really well. Posters don't tend to do as well.
Yeah.
Vinyl I don't have as much experience with. Would you say you're selling 1 to 5 a show, or is it double digits in some?
For this run, it's been 1 to 5 or so.
But it's still an extra $100 every show.
Totally.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Are you guys, when you're on the road, are you kind of looking for, you want to try to make a certain amount per day, or it's just kind of whatever it is, it is?
It's not like we're not going to play.
Yeah, you're just hoping for some food and gas money to get to the next place, essentially.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that makes sense. Just enjoying yourselves.
It's always, I mean, it all depends, right? Like what was last night, what's ahead of us, do we have a day off? But we're definitely very conscious about where our money's coming from and where it's going to. Making music videos, I don't know if you've ever made one of those, but they are not cheap.
So what was that process like? How did you find a director, and who did the editing? And how did you come up with the idea? Did you guys come up with the script?
For all the music videos, we worked with a wonderful, beautiful human being named Austin Dykes, who has a company called Proclamation Recordings out of Atlanta. He and Alexandra Troy, I believe is her full name, and then Cole, what's Cole's last name?
Coleman.
Coleman.
Cole Coleman?
Isn't it?
I can't remember.
Same first and last name, really?
I think it is. I remember.
That's
laughing.
cool.
Yeah. Believe it or not, Austin sent us a cold email to the Wholesome Boys email and was like, "Hey, I'm a videographer out of Atlanta, and I saw, or I see that you're playing this show. Would you like me to do a video for you?" And we sent some messages back and forth, and he worked with our budget and like times and stuff. It was very respectful, and we met him, and it was another one of those instant like, oh, this is like we're supposed to make a music video with this guy.
That's cool. And he's from Nashville?
No, Atlanta, hot
Atlanta. So did he like come in to Nashville to do it, or did you go out there?
We had a gig at Smith's Old Bar in Atlanta, Georgia, that he had looked up on his own.
So he found you a gig too?
No, we had.
Oh, you had the gig booked. Okay.
Yeah, he like hit up us because he saw we were coming through town.
Did he video your gig, or he videoed on a separate day?
He did.
videoed the gig,
Okay, cool.
He made. It was like a 1 minute live video.
but it took him like he filmed the whole show, didn't he?
Oh, and he cut it into something.
Yeah.
Cool. Because so we've done some similar things where we see a band on tour and we reach out. The tough thing is the tour's routed, so typically it's like they got to go to the next place the next day.
Totally.
And we've thought, like, how can we get ahead of that into booking agents in a way to know somebody's coming through Michigan, give an extra day to come here. We've had some success where we've seen a band come through and there's a day off and we say, hey, come here, we'll do this. Let's like kind of just expand the network and have some fun together. And it's been fun, but it's difficult, and I think that's where it's like, how can we get ahead of that?
Totally.
I do want to say our most recent music video, Ypsilanti, Andrew shot and edited completely on his own. Right here.
Wow.
It's amazing.
So, yeah, what camera did you use and how did you do it?
The only one I have access to.
Your phone? No.
Still camera.
No, it's Dylan's camera. It's a Sony. It shoots in 4K, but we don't know how to do that. So it's not I don't think it's in 4K.
4K is not good anyway, I've heard, because not everyone can stream it on YouTube. So it's better to do HD right now, I believe.
All right.
Yeah, the beauty, like we're shooting in 4K right now, but the beauty is you could punch in really far and it doesn't get grainy. Oh, cool. So that's like one of the benefits for us. Even though all of these cameras, including the one behind me, if you didn't see that one before, it's all recording to a switcher upstairs on a hard drive in 1080. But the cameras themselves have the SD cards just for that 4K. If like essentially on this one, if he wants to zoom in on you or him over there, it can look really nice.
But yeah, so back to how you did the music video. So you filmed it all on one camera. Where is everyone else in the band in the video, or is the video more abstract?
No, everyone's in the video. We did one wide shot, and then I just kind of told everyone to play separately, and we all just, like Dylan filmed, he helped film, he helped with the editing.
So who filmed you then? He filmed you
Yeah.
when you were playing?
I don't know. Maybe I didn't.
I think I
Someone
did.
did.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
But it was inspired by the Malcolm in the Middle intro.
Oh, interesting. I got to rewatch it now just to see that. I think it's great that you guys, you're working internally, you're figuring it out on your own too, because it's a valuable skill. I mean, that video editing, video recording, super valuable skill.
I think that these
Yeah, at
Yeah,
that
we
point we
didn't
couldn't
have
because we had a really
another option.
And that's where, like, what is it? I forget the quote.
Necessity is the
Thank you.
whatever mother of invention.
Yes, there we go. I mean, there was no other way that we would be sitting here right now had we not taken it upon ourselves to just do everything that a band needs done.
Yeah, I mean, like if the van broke down, we would walk to the gigs if we had
Yeah.
to do it. Not because like, wow, you guys are really good walkers.
Yeah, you got those. You could ride the road cases on your way down.
Very
Definitely appreciate
grateful
you
to
being
be
here.
here. This is
Yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, of course.
Y'all
Yeah, I
are-
think this is awesome. I'm happy to have you. I'll say on air because it was funny. Like right before you reached out, I was saying to myself or to John, I'm like, God, we really need some bands from outside of Detroit right now. It'd be really great to get some other people. And then on Saturday we had a band from Chicago, and now you guys here from Nashville. So it's fun. Like I put out that ethos or whatever, and it came back around. So
That's a
now
real deal.
I'll do it again. If you're outside of Michigan or inside of Michigan, we'll have you anyway. But if you're outside of Michigan and you want to come through, we'd love to have you on our series here, Candid Conversations with Professional Musicians, where we're just trying to learn how to make it in this industry. It's not easy. there is so much noise on social media, on the internet. So we're all trying to figure out ways to be successful and to do what we love here. All right, well, so I got one more question for you. This is our tag for this series. I want to, prompt you this way, that we've been asking every band through here, every artist, this same question as a final question. And, we're really kind of curious how everybody's going to respond. So this final question is, how do you define success as a musician? And do you feel that you are successful yet?
Being in this band is what success is to me. And I think the moment I met these guys and we played our first show and I felt that connection, I was like, we made it.
So you've been looking for this. You've been looking for a band that you can be in a group.
Definitely.
And now you
I've been
found
trying
it.
to do this since I was 12 years old.
No, I just think it's obviously a very subjective question, but a big part of it is continuing to play. I know a lot of people from the past or whatever who have definitely, life can get to you very quickly, and one of the things to go is something we call playtime. Let's play music. And I think that if you're capable of being resilient to the world or being resilient to stopping playing, I think that that's a major success for anyone who can accomplish that.
I concur.
I concur.
No, I think that, success is something that I redefine for myself every day. And I think that having something that I believe in, that I can allow to get inside of me and help me expand all parts of me, like that is success to me. That it's more than just music.
Well, there's no absolute answer. It's just everyone has their own definition of what that is.
Yeah, I think I
Totally.
agree. Like, my definition of that changes all the time, and it's definitely not what I thought it looked like 10 years ago.
Right.
I thought success was like a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
I found that I am extremely successful. Like Frank said, I've been trying to do this since I was maybe like 13 years old. And another part of it is that I never get tired of these guys. I don't know.
Here.
I can't define
Yeah, that's
it.
beautiful. I think, from my perspective, right, you guys are having a lot of fun. I can see it in the music. I can hear it in the music. I can see it in your faces. This last tune, not released yet, right? Is that what I...
Correctamundo. And
Perfect.
this is a definite band favorite.
Okay, great. Best for last. All right. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. If you're still there listening, give us a subscribe. It really goes a long way. Reach out if you want to be here and do this yourself. We'll see you next time.
Bloodshot eyes from this far to realize I know we're close, running out of road. Second chance, more than most. Short of breath, but I've got hope. There's a blistering wind, pushing back again. Far beyond the reach. Who am I supposed to be? I can find a way. Yeah, the strength today. Wide awake in the dead of night, turning thoughts to decide what I want out of life. Overanalyze, full steam where I go, like I never have before. Feel lingering, it's pulling me far beyond the reach. Who am I supposed
enough, y'all. Here's one more.
Building on the run. All you gotta do is get the wheels turning. Be the Lord of God. Feel the shimming up from that morning. Well, keep the hammer down. I gotta get again where I'm going. Take another town, another city in the real new burning. When you reach the speed of sound, can you even see the goal? When the world's in disarray, are you gonna be okay? But go 100 rounds, learn the sound of the belly of the bottle. Take it pound for pound. Turn the needle into red out of wild air. When you reach the speed of sound, can you even see the ground? When the world's in disarray, are you gonna be okay? When you reach the speed of sound, can you even see the goal? When the world's in disarray, are you gonna be okay?
Beautiful. Thanks so much, guys. We appreciate you being here. That was a wonderful performance. Killed it.
Thank you so much, y'all. And thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Bird Fight.
Yeah, thank you everybody who is on the other side of those
Yep.
cameras.